Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader, was asked about the prospects of using reconciliation yesterday. Here's a look at what he had to say.
They should stop crying about reconciliation as if it's never been done before. It's done almost every Congress. And they're the ones that used it more than anyone else. The Contract for America, most of the stuff in the Contract for America was done with reconciliation. Tax cuts, done with reconciliation. Medicare, done with reconciliation.
All right, there is no crying in politics, says Harry Reid. You can see his spokesman in the background there, Jim Manley, one of the toughest jobs in politics, saying, oh, God, do I have to pay attention to what my boss is saying? Once again, we're joined, always. We're joined now by Anna Marie Cox of GQ. Like to say your new gig over there, your new title over
That's
there,
right.
Washington correspondent. But you're in New York today. Anna, let's start with the expectations around this summit. No one thinks this is going to be anything substantive, but the optics are going to be important. What's your sense of how that's being framed by Democrats and Republicans now?
Well, it's hard for me to imagine how this works out really well for Republicans. I think that they, as you discussed with Jonathan Karl, they're going to wind up saying no to no matter what happens. They might also put forward some proposals, but like David, I think the president is going to be very savvy about that and probably try to incorporate some things on the fly. And make it look at least like they have some Republican ideas. And of course, as we know, there are some Republican ideas in the proposed bill. They're not the big important ones that the Republicans would really like to see. And in general, they really are more of a negative force in this than they are a positive force. Most of the positive proposals they put forth are about cutting back on things and about not doing things. So it's really hard for me to figure out how this looks good to a broad, mainstream, independent audience. I think that, you know, if they do go in there and yell no, or maybe just even say no politely, you might get some sort of Tea Party crowd really excited. But those aren't the people and those are the people that are already excited. They're already engaged and involved in this particular aspect.
But Anna, but the polling is still on the Republican side of this, and a majority of the country is still not for what is known as Obama's health care bill, right?
Right, but I mean, you and I have talked about this every week, I swear.
Because I understand that the components are popular, but they're not being explained about.
And
the
I think that this is actually, I mean, talk about your teachable moments, right? I mean,
right.
This is a chance for the president and for the Democrats to really explain what is in the bill and to remove that misconception, that very dramatic misconception that the American public has about what exactly actually is in this legislation. I think that is actually another really good thing that can come out of this. That in and of itself is maybe not the kind of substance that we'd really like to see, but explaining what's actually in there.
Do you think in this one day, 6 hours, whatever it is, that you can undo that kind of public perception that is pretty, right, set in for at least 6 months? It's been settled.
It has been settled, and as I said before, you and I and everyone in the media bear some responsibility for that misconception.
That's my favorite part when you say that.
I know, but so the president would actually have to undo what we've done, as well as I think some of what they've done in badly communicating what's in their bill. No, they can't undo it. But in the end, I mean, the other thing the polling says that, again, I repeat every week, is that Americans are more upset about the lack of progress than they are about what is or isn't in the bill. Right. And I think that in the end, that's going to be a losing proposition for Republicans as well. I mean, I think everyone loses if nothing gets passed. But I think this is going to be a chance to really set the blame for not passing something on the Republicans, whereas right now I think the majority of the public blames both the Democrats and Republicans for a lack of progress.
Anna, we put the question to the Twitterverse today, getting at what you're talking about now about anything passing being better than nothing and everyone losing if nothing gets passed. We asked who would really be happier. Would it be if the president actually signed something into law? Would it be Democrats or Republicans truly, really happier about the situation? Of course, we got a little bit of both in the responses. At CM Cabo 97, the Democrats, worst outcome for them would be to have nothing to show for the last year, and the Republicans would have to justify their obstruction. On the other side, Kipster D.C., the Republicans will benefit in November 2010 based on independents voting, like the Scott Brown race and the Republican governor's races. Truly, politics, pure politics. Who's happier if there's a bill?
Who's happier? I mean, everyone gets to run on something if there's a bill, right? I mean, I think the Republicans, you will get a Tea Party element, like really getting even more energized possibly if there's a bill. And then you'll have the Democrats also being able to go home to their districts and present a piece of legislation that they've gotten passed. So everyone will be able to run on something. I think ultimately, depending on what they pass, but having looked at what the president put up on the White House website, it seems like Americans would probably like what the legislation is right now. And so I think that actually probably wind up being better for Democrats.
So if both sides are happy, maybe political reporters are happiest because everyone gets a campaign issue.
That's right.
That gets quite at the point that Pelosi makes to her troops, that the White House, Axelrod goes up to the Hill and makes as well. It's like, that is why doing nothing is such a disaster for them. That is why they have to push this through.
Yeah, they do. They do have to push it through. They have to take something back to their districts.
Right. All right. Anna Marie Cox, thanks for joining us from New York City at our home base of operations up there at ABC.
And I made sure to tell your bosses what a great job you're doing.
Awesome. We love it. We love it. You're invited back. It's official. Thanks, Anna. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Anna. That does it for this edition of Top Line. Be sure to click us on again tomorrow, the day of the big healthcare summit.
Summitry, we love it. Twitter.com/thenote. Let us know what you think. Every step of the way, we'll be live blogging the summit and everything else in between.
You're going to be live blogging this?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll.